mean, who hasn't? You see it all the time in the news, online, and I'm sure there's people have told you about it. Now, climate change does not mean that there will be no more cold days. There will still be cold winters, but the global climate is going to rise. That the temperature around the world may be a few degrees hotter than last year. Although everyone loves to talk about it, what's being done to combat it? What are things that you can do in your everyday life to have a bigger impact on your climate future? Many people may think that climate change is a bigger issue that everyday people like you and me cannot have an impact on. But in fact, we can do a lot to combat climate change. First off, what causes climate change? It's important to know what causes climate change so we can better understand what we can do to stop it. It is important to note that temperatures only started changing in recent times, which means that any geological activity would not be to blame. The main contributor to climate change is carbon dioxide. While carbon dioxide is what you exhale, the process of burning fossil fuels for electricity as well as deforestation release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere on a much higher level. For example, carbon dioxide concentrations have increased more than 40% since pre-industrial times. The effect of this, however, is that the average temperature around the globe has increased by 2 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880. While this may seem like a small change, this is more important than you may think. Should the global temperature rise this much, it means that there is a lot of ambient heat trapped in the atmosphere to warm the oceans, most of the land, and the polar ice caps. For example, only a 1 to 2 degree change of the global temperature was all it took for the ice age to begin. This shows that a simple 1 to 2 degree change can have a big impact on our planet. But it isn't time to panic yet. There are things being done to lessen the impact of climate change or even sort of prevent it from getting worse. I have told you about the causes and effects of climate change. Now, I will tell you about what people are doing to fight it. There are many ways that people can either raise awareness or even take on the challenge of facing climate change altogether. One great example of showing something that tries to help fight against climate change is Ecosia. You've probably heard it before since it is a search engine / browser that you can use to plant trees. This helps since using revenue generated from your searches and the ads that they show you, they can plant trees. So far, over 100 million trees have been planted due to the search engine, and the numbers are still rising to this day. Another great example of what people are doing to solve climate change, or at least to reduce their impact on the planet, is using renewable energy sources. These include solar panels, windmills, and even hydropower dams. The reason these power sources benefit our planet is because they do not pollute. Plus, they use renewable energy sources, which means that there's an infinite, or near infinite, number of resources to supply these power plants, in contrast to a non-renewable resource such as coal or fossils. However, even though there are renewable energy sources, these alone cannot provide enough power to meet the demand of every single person / household, which means that most electricity comes from burning fossil fuels. So, this brings up the question, what can you do to help fight climate change yourself? Despite climate change being an issue that undoubtedly affects everyone on this planet, there are things that we can do to change our future for the better. These are simple, and I'll give you a few examples. You can use public transport as well as using a bike to get to places instead of a car sometimes. What this can do is reduce your carbon footprint, which reduces the amount of carbon dioxide you produce / release into the atmosphere. You can also use things like water filters or even use a reusable bottle. This helps as well since using a reusable bottle both reduces the number of bottles that you use and reduces the amount of plastic that you waste. These are both great examples of small things that you can do to help fight climate change. In conclusion, climate change is a massive issue that's facing us. This doesn't mean that we can't do anything about it though. Even if we are the reason that carbon dioxide pollution has gotten this bad, climate change is happening fast, and we need to do something about it. What's being done about it right now is the constant growth of renewable energy sources and the eventual replacement of non-renewable energy sources. However, you can do things to combat it too. You can use renewable energy sources, bottles, ride a bike, or save power. So hopefully with this video I've taught you a few new things about climate change. And if you're going to take one thing away from this, it's that anyone can have an impact on climate change, and that's not too late.